Long ago, in the sacred land of Puri, there ruled a devoted king named Indradyumna. The king wished to build a magnificent temple for Lord Vishnu, but in his heart, he longed to worship the Lord in a form that reflected simplicity, love, and universality. The king summoned his learned priest, Vidyapati, and said, "Go forth, search the land, find the divine form I seek." Vidyapati began his journey with unwavering faith. He crossed dense jungles, climbed mountains, and crossed mighty rivers. Days turned into months, yet the divine form remained hidden. One day, Vidyapati reached the foothills of a mountain range near the banks of the river Mahanadi. The forest there was deep and untouched. There, he met the tribal chief Viswabasu, guardian of ancient secrets. Vidyapati requested shelter in the forest. During his stay, Viswabasu's daughter Lalita was drawn to Vidyapati's wisdom and gentle nature. In time, love blossomed. With Viswabasu's blessing, Vidyapati and Lalita were married. They lived happily for several years among the forest people. Yet, deep within, Vidyapati had not forgotten his divine quest. One day, Lalita revealed a sacred truth. She spoke of Neela Madhav, a form of Lord Vishnu carved from a radiant blue gemstone worshipped secretly by the tribes. Vidyapati's heart trembled. He knew instantly, this was the divine form he had been searching for. At first, Viswabasu refused to reveal the sacred deity. But moved by devotion, he agreed, on one condition. Vidyapati must walk blindfolded to the cave. On the chosen day, Vidyapati tied a cloth over his eyes. Unseen by anyone, he carried a small pouch of mustard seeds, pierced with a tiny hole. As they walked through the forest, the seeds fell silently onto the path. Inside the hidden cave, Vidyapati removed the blindfold. Before him stood Neela Madhav, glowing with divine brilliance. Tears flowed from Vidyapati's eyes. He had found the truth he sought. After many days, Vidyapati returned to King Indradyumna and revealed the entire story: Neela Madhav, Lalita, Viswabasu, and the hidden cave. The king and Vidyapati followed the forest path marked by yellow mustard flowers and reached the sacred cave. But the moment the king reached out to touch the idol, Neela Madhav vanished. King Indradyumna was broken-hearted. With folded hands he closed his eyes. Suddenly a celestial voice spoke. "The Lord will rise from the ocean. At the right time, the right hands will shape him." Indradyumna returned to his palace. The next morning, the king went to the shore. There, floating upon the waves, was a massive tree log, marked with divine symbols. The king brought it to the temple with reverence. At the temple gate, a divine carpenter appeared, radiating a presence beyond the mortal world. He agreed to carve the sacred idol, but his voice echoed with divine command. For 21 days, the doors must remain sealed. For faith would be tested in silence, and no soul must break it. Days passed. Queen Gundicha Devi visited the temple every day and listened quietly to the sound of wood being carved behind the closed doors. Reassured, she would return to the palace. One day, however, the sound was gone. She waited for a long time, but the silence remained. Uneasy, the queen summoned the king and said, "If the work were continuing, we would hear something. This silence worries me." Though the king remembered his promise to the carpenter, his own anxiety grew. Overcome by fear, he finally ordered the temple doors to be opened. Silence filled the temple. Inside stood unfinished idols, without hands and feet. The carpenter had vanished. A divine voice echoed through the temple. "This is how I wish to be worshipped. Not by form, but by faith." Thus appeared Lord Jagannath, along with Balabhadra and Subhadra, belonging to all, beyond perfection and appearance. True devotion is not bound by form or fear. Faith, humility, and patience are the greatest offerings. This was the beginning of the divine form of Lord Jagannath. In the next episode, we will witness another sacred story.